Every society since the dawn of civilization has developed a means to recognize those citizens who have given of themselves far beyond the expected. Healdsburg found a way 20 years ago to honor those individuals among us. History lives, and the Pioneer Award. This year, the Healdsburg Museum and Historical Society decided it was time to celebrate a retrospective highlighting all of the past honorees. Our pioneers' stories are inseparable from that of Healdsburg's. So let's go back a little bit. From its founding in 1857, Healdsburg was shaped by outside forces. From the influx of disillusioned gold prospectors, to the money generated by the Silver Rush, to the coming of the railway, Healdsburg was developing as a commercial hub. By the 1880s, this city of less than 1,500 people was able to splurge on a monumental city hall. Among the first settlers to Healdsburg in the 1850s were the ancestors of a number of our honorees, including Meredith, Young, Brandt, and Fabiano. As part of this early commercial expansion, Brandt Brewery came into operation in 1895, and the Fabianos founded their winery in 1896. Growth was relatively slow at the beginning of the 20th century, but the decade from 1910 to 1920 brought the births of our earliest Pioneer Award recipients, all with roots in the wine industry. This was the decade that brought World War I, the Bosworth & Son General Store in Geyserville, and Prohibition. The Roaring Twenties were the birth decade of 7 more award recipients, and the founding of the original bakery that is now Cousteau's. The economic crash in 1929 brought more changes to Healdsburg. The population decreased by almost 5% during the 20s, and the lifting of Prohibition brought new opportunities to town. 1934 was the first official vintage from the Pedroncellis, and the Fabianos planted more grapes. Machine shop founder Abele Ferrari bought the Soda Rock Winery from Robert Young's relative Shadrach Osborne and reopened it with daughter Rose Demosthenes, who expanded it with her husband Leo. Wine tourism began in the county in Asti at Italian Swiss Colony in 1934, and shortly thereafter in Healdsburg at Simi Winery. That tourism increased with the opening of the Golden Gate Bridge in 1937. The 30s was also the birth decade of 5 more of our recipients. With the 1940s came World War II and the start of the national demographic shift in its aftermath. The wine industry continued to grow, with Louis Fabiano as a founding member of the Wine Institute, and John Pedroncelli assuming winemaking duties at the family winery. The post-war boom was in full swing by the 1950s. Francis Pasalacqua helped found St. John's School, while Clarence Ruanavara became a beloved teacher and coach at the public schools. Joseph Vercelli was named winemaker at Italian Swiss Colony, and the Pedroncellis released their first Sonoma County appellation. Gene Domenichelli founded his masonry company, and Edgar Diaz founded E&M Electric. Newcomers Arnold Santucci and the Bacigalupis moved from San Francisco. Arnold to purchase the Healdsburg Tribune, and the Bacigalupis to set up their professional practices and to grow grapes. In the 60s, Gene Cuneo and Joe Rocchioli, looking well beyond Healdsburg and into the future, helped found the California North Coast Grape Growers Association, while Bob Young became an ambassador to the International Vine and Wine Organization. By the 70s, Healdsburg was becoming more international. 40% of the grapes in the famed triumph of Chateau Monteleno over the French came from the Bacigalupis. And France came to Healdsburg with the opening of Cousteau Bakery, whose tradition and expansion is stewarded by the Sempis. Between 1950 and 1980, the population of Healdsburg had more than doubled to 7,217. The 80s also saw the completion of the Warm Springs Dam, a project spearheaded by Milt Brandt. The 90s saw the transformation of the Carnegie Library into the headquarters for the Healdsburg Museum and Historical Society. The work was performed by Edinger Construction and marked the start of a new era in curating of Healdsburg's history and a new era of philanthropists. Among the museum-sponsored projects is the restoration of Oak Mound Cemetery, headed by the Dreisbachs. What a group! 9 from the wine industry, 4 service professionals, 3 construction and engineering professionals, and 2 whose talents are so diverse, we will just call ourselves lucky to have them among us. Their service to us has given us inspiration and a path for facing our future together. We are also here tonight to celebrate the Museum and Historical Society. It provides a window into our history. In 2017, the 4 exhibits attracted over 5,000 visitors. There were more than 500 research inquiries. Monthly newsletters and quarterly journals, guided school tours, the list goes on. We are proud of how much the museum offers with only 2 employees, a part-time intern, and fewer than 100 volunteers. Help us keep local history alive.
Woo! Oh, baby.